How much of your personal data should online companies be able to collect? After a controversial vote, the Federal Trade Commission says right now companies collect too much information on you. They're using unfair and deceptive data practices to get it, and there should be some new rules to better protect you. So why is that so controversial? I'm going to tell you why in a second. But first, I want to thank my TikTok subscribers for voting on this story for me to cover as a bonus this week. If you want to vote, subscribe to my page during my next live event. Now, let's talk about what's happening. Picture this. You look something up on the internet, then you move on to something else and you go about your business. But then that thing you looked up 2 days ago suddenly starts popping up everywhere. It literally follows you wherever you go. You can't escape it. That, my friends, is online data collection, and according to the FTC, while in theory these data collection practices have dazzling conveniences to really personalize your online experience, they also now enable persistent tracking and surveillance on a massive scale in a stunning array of contexts. The problem is the Federal Trade Commission says Congress hasn't been able to keep up with all the newfangled data collection methods being used by companies online, and all our current rules and laws on the books are so outdated that online companies can get away with a lot. The result is most Americans feel like they don't really have control over their personal data, and they feel forced to accept these surveillance practices. Otherwise, they can't use the online tools that are becoming more and more necessary to navigate everyday life. So in a 3-2 vote, the FTC decided to move forward with making some new data collection rules. But before they do that, by law, they have to get public comments and input on things like widespread usage of algorithms to manipulate or leverage your data, security practices that leave your data vulnerable to hackers, and even your thoughts on whether or not some platforms are addictive to children, plus all the other things you find problematic about online data collection today. But that vote pissed off a lot of people and some pretty important organizations like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and advocates for free market principles on the internet, not to mention the 2 Republicans who sit on the Federal Trade Commission, who were the 2 no votes. They say there's no real evidence that data collection practices are really harming anyone, and they think this whole idea is a prime example of government agency overreach. In their opinion, this action would directly contradict a recent Supreme Court ruling that limits the rule-making ability of government agencies. The Republican commissioners and other critics say this is really a job for Congress, and making rules this way now may undermine pending legislation. The FTC chairwoman says, not so fast. Because of the FTC Act of 1914, the agency was already given full authority by Congress to issue rules that identify specific business practices that are unlawful by virtue of being unfair or deceptive. So what's next? First, understand creating rules like this will take years. But if you want to give your 2 cents, there is a virtual public forum you can attend on September 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern, and you can also submit your own public comment about this. I put links to all of it on my website.